All right, next up, representing Team 60s. Michele Herman is the author of the novels Save the Village and the chapbooks Victory Boulevard and Just Another Jack. Her work has appeared in Carve, Plowshares, The Hudson Review, and others. Put your hands together, representing Team 60s, Michele.
Thank you, whoever's cheering out there. 2022. Russia invades Ukraine, and I find myself surprised, like so many Americans, by the affection I feel for the Ukrainians. So modest, and yet so proud and determined. Then, when going through some old files I inherited when my mother died, I discovered that my Jewish roots are not just Polish and Latvian, but a good chunk Ukrainian. I idly wish I could do something to help. A new friend mentions in passing that he's volunteering with Engine, an organization that matches up English speakers with young people in Ukraine who want to improve their spoken English. My life is wildly overpacked, but the commitment's just an hour a week on Zoom. I apply right away and they accept me. But I'm a writer and a writing teacher, no ESL expert, and I have a long, sad history of second guessing. I worry I'll be assigned someone taciturn and will get caught in that awful dance. You first, no, you. I worry about prep time and explaining the future perfect continuous tense. I worry the person will be a blowhard. I worry about anti-Semitism. They matched me with Svetlana. Yes, Svetlana, that most Slavic of names. Because on the hobby section of the application, we both checked handcrafts. I fear that knowing how to set a zipper is a shallow foundation for a relationship. But then Svetlana writes me charmingly, "Hello, Michele. Thanks you for contacting me and being my language partner. I appreciated this." I crossed taciturn and blowhard off my list of worries. We meet on a Saturday in spring 2023. After lunch for me, after dinner for her. I'm in my little office surrounded by novels and student manuscripts. Svetlana's in her childhood bedroom, awash in blue and yellow Ukrainian banners. She's bubbly, blonde, blue-eyed under her big wireframe glasses, the kind girls wore when I was in junior high. Her English is heavily accented but understandable. "I love your top," I say, pointing to her peasant blouse. "It's a Vyshyvanka," she tells me, and now I love the name, too. "It's a very important Ukrainian garment," she explains, pointing to the embroidery. "The patterns tell a story." I show her the Amish-style baby quilt I sewed by hand. I try to explain about the Amish, aware that an obscure bonnet-wearing sect may not be what she's here for. Oh well, it's a start. Over the next weeks, we sketch out the basics of our wildly disparate lives. At the time, I'm 66 and she's 28, same as my younger son. She's living in her parents' apartment in her small hometown, thankfully far from the fighting. I live in the big city. With all the men at the front, she's not anticipating romance anytime soon. I've been married for 34 years. She's an Eastern Orthodox churchgoer. I don't mention it, but I'm a hybrid, a Jewish atheist. She planned a life as a kindergarten teacher, but she says working with little kids turned out not to be her cup of tea. The idiom rolls right off her tongue, but her sad smile tells me this is a fresh wound. How I feel for her. My now thriving career got off to a bumpy start, too. As unconscionable as this war is, it's opened up a new career that suits her perfectly, teaching Ukrainian online to English speakers. I like our little loop. I'll improve her English to help her teach English speakers her language. We discuss travel, pets, food. We send each other recordings of our favorite songs. One day we do a show and tell of our favorite garments. I run to the closet and pull out the chic fitted dress coat that I rarely have occasion to wear. Women in our 60s don't usually do this. What fun to have this kind of girlfriend again. Occasionally we bump up against an awkward gap. I'm at a loss when she tells me she was not robust as a child and went to what sounds like a Soviet-era sanitarium to strengthen her legs. I say I'm going to a Seder and have to explain what a Seder is. I ask about her big brother, who she told me lives in Poland. She says they're not close and changes the subject. So I honor her tacit wishes to keep things light. It's not that she's superficial, it's just that it's wartime, and life is scary enough. What she does love to talk about is the volunteer center, where she paints and weaves strips of donated fabric into vast camouflage nets for the soldiers. One day, in a New York Times photo, I notice one in the background and practically leap in the air in excitement. Sometimes she gets me up to speed on pop culture, even my own. Who knew Ukrainians adore the sitcom Friends? She assumes I'm conversant in the one with the holiday armadillo and giggles as she educates me. If Santa and the holiday armadillo are in the same room for too long, the universe will implode, I now know. On Netflix, my husband and I watch A Servant of the People, the goofy, sharp, handsomely produced Ukrainian sitcom. It's a revelation. I had no idea that Volodymyr Zelensky, then still an actor, played a high school teacher who unexpectedly becomes the Ukrainian president. Svetlana, bless her, gets it into her head to listen to the most harrowing contemporary American novel I know, A Little Life, and we shudder as we talk about its poor, damaged protagonist. Along the way, I gently correct her errors, particularly her tendency to mix up what and that. I don't have the heart to say she doesn't have to introduce each new topic with by the way, because she says it so sweetly. But she figures this out on her own. She's such a quick study. Whoops. Incredibly cosmopolitan for someone who rarely travels beyond Dnipro, the nearest city. Modest, thoughtful, determined, and hard on herself, like me. We compare notes about our students' breakthroughs and our own. We're both taking Zoom piano lessons and cheer each other on as we struggle with this mystifying new language. Sometimes my beloved English fails me. What do you call a plant that you grow indoors, she asks. An indoor plant, I say confidently. 10 minutes later, I think, duh, a house plant. We realize that English and Ukrainian have the same Latinate and Greek words, and often the same idioms. I also teach her splitting hairs, herding cats, corny, and a few essential curse words. I've spent my life trying to decide if people are mostly good and kind and prone to getting along, or idiots and assholes, can't even say it, assholes spoiling for a fight. Despite ample evidence for the latter, I'm not a cynic. Witness Svetlana and me. Early on in our sessions, I kept apologizing for not preparing lessons. She said, that's fine, let's just talk. It's been a year now, and that's what we still do every Saturday, though she hardly needs me to correct her English anymore. We never step on each other's words. We never run out of topics. We always laugh. 4,900 miles across the planet, different cultures, different religions, different generations, but both of us trying to improve this gigantic mess of a world through curiosity and respect, kindness and hard work, sometimes with our hands. Svetlana would like to move out of her childhood bedroom and get her own place. Here in New York, we have a childhood bedroom of our own, the one vacated by our grown sons, and now fitted with a comfortable sofa bed. I dream of the day when she's free to fly across the globe and visit. Thank you.
So beautiful.